Are we ready? Okay, good afternoon. Once again, thank you for coming and helping us get the word out to the citizens of Charleston County on what's the situation for this storm and what we anticipate and so forth. I'll start out with it. Charleston County will have one shelter open starting at 1 p.m. today, and it's a county-owned facility, and it's located at 3765 Leeds Avenue. It's to get an orientation, it's about directly across the street from the DMV on Leeds Avenue. This shelter will also accommodate pets, but you will have to bring your supplies for your pets, such as crate, food, water, any medication, what have you, for your pets. Whatever you do for your pets daily, you need to bring that with you when you go to that shelter if you have a pet. Our transportation pickup plan will also start at 1 p.m. And basically, we will have the Durham school buses out riding the evacuation routes within Charleston County, stopping at every one of our 85-plus hurricane evacuation pickup bus stops. They're signed, they're identified with a bus front, hurricane symbol in English and Spanish and saying hurricane pickup. That will start at 1 o'clock today, and it will cease at 8 p.m. So with that being said, I can't stress it enough. If you are in a low-lying area that typically will flood, you need to consider leaving now. If you don't have transportation to do so, then you need to find one of those transportation pickup point signs and stand there after 1 o'clock, because the buses will ride and they will circle each one of those routes until they have a full bus. And then they will take that bus, will come out of circulation, take them to the shelter, but there will be a bus immediately following that one to keep going around, so there won't be hopefully any lag time. But because of the seriousness of this storm and when we could potentially start feeling the effects of it, 8 p.m. is when the buses will have to come off the road. We do expect some heavy rainfall, some high winds, and some storm surge. So again, if you live in areas that are affected by tide, affected by high tide, affected by flooding, please leave. Leave now, okay? If you don't need to go to a shelter, we recommend you don't go to the shelter. Go see family, friends, or maybe just go in and get a hotel room somewhere, okay? Charleston County, lastly, we went to OPCON 1, we are currently at OPCON 1, which is our highest state of alertness. Charleston County Citizen Information Line for people that have any questions or need any kind of assistance is 843-746-3900. I'll say it again, 843-746-3900. And there is also an 800 number for those that may have medical questions and need assistance with medical issues. That number is 1-800-578-2031. One more time, 1-800-578-2031. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Mayor Summey and have him, make any announcements for the city of North Charleston.
Let's put it in sort of common sense terms. If you flooded in the past, you're probably going to flood again. Now's the time to leave before that occurs. Don't wait until the water starts rising. If you do have family or friends that you can hunker down with during the storm, we ask you to do that. If you can't, then the shelter is available. Carter will be out running around picking up people if you don't have a mode of transportation. But if you've got to move your car because you think it's going to flood your car, it's probably going to flood your house as well. So get out. Don't stay there. Don't take that risk. It is not worth it. Life cannot be replaced. Property can be replaced. And so we ask you to work with us at the shelters. Be prepared. Not everything can be done for you at the shelter. You have to prepare yourself to be in that shelter so that you can help take care of yourself, because we only have so many people. Our police department is out in full strength. Our fire department is out in full strength. We're ready to handle anything that comes along, but use common sense when it comes to protecting yourselves and your families. Get ready, be ready, and God bless.
Now, Mayor Tecklenburg for the City of Charleston.
Well, thank you, Kathy, and once again, I just can't start without saying thank you to all of our first responders and emergency personnel. It's an amazing effort that they put forth to keep our citizens and our property safe, and we should all be thankful to them. So I know the storm looks like it's going westward, and then, of course, our hearts and prayers go out to the folks down in Florida. They are really getting hit bad today. And then it goes to Georgia and then up into Tennessee, and we're thinking like, oh, we've dodged a bullet. But in fact, we're going to see some tidal surge or inundation. Now, it seems counterintuitive because the storm's, way over to our west. But in fact, the winds will be blowing the water up to our coastline. And the National Weather Service is saying 4 to 6 feet of what I call excess high tide. Now, when it happens tomorrow during the middle of the day, it's going to be right when we have a full moon high tide. So the combination of the regular high tide midday tomorrow and this 4 to 6 extra feet or excess high tide means that in all of our historic low-lying areas, we're going to have some serious flooding tomorrow. So again, if you live in one of those low-lying areas, or for just some reason you don't feel safe wherever you reside, the shelter will be open. Of course, if you could relocate with a family or friend or take a hotel room, that works too. But luckily, and thanks to the Red Cross, you'll be hearing from Louise in just a minute, we're going to open shelters. I did want to mention also, in the city of Charleston, our parking garages are wide open. They're free over the next couple of days if you want to just get your car out of a low-lying area. So I want to thank the Red Cross, all of our emergency responders, and they're doing an incredible job. And everybody be safe. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could just elaborate a little bit on what Mayor Tecklenburg said about the size of the storm. I heard this morning, to give you a layman's term, if you will, on how to decide how big this storm really is. I heard on the news this morning that it is the size of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia altogether. That's how wide this storm is. So to reiterate what the mayor said, it may be going west, but it's still the worst side of the storm is coming our way. Okay? So now at this time, Louise Welch from Red Cross.
Good morning, thank you. Everybody is welcome at a Red Cross shelter. We will not be checking identifications to get into a shelter. We will ask, once you are a resident of the shelter, for your name and pre-disaster address. Want to remind everybody to bring whatever you need to make your shelter spot feel like home. If you need a sleeping bag, your favorite pillow, if you have medications that you're going to need, please bring them. If you have children and need baby formula, please bring all of that to the shelter with you.
And now the captain of port, Captain Reed, U.S. Coast Guard.
Good afternoon. Just a few notes on the Coast Guard's response to Irma thus far. Irma is already impacting parts of the United States and the Caribbean. U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico have been heavily impacted, and Coast Guard resources are beginning to flow in that direction to provide critical life-saving as well as port safety and security operations to reopen ports and bring needed life-saving service. Locally, the devastating impacts of, your Coast Guard, due to the nature and scale of Irma, has been preparing for a range of heavy weather outcomes. some of which have already been discussed today. We have prepared our assets and are ready to respond to critical life-saving needs. Secondly, we will work with our port partners through the heavy weather advisory group to ensure the Port of Charleston remains open as long as possible and restrictions are removed as soon as possible after the passing of heavy weather, so that critical commodities are able to flow south into Florida and other parts of the southeast United States. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. I would now like to ask Councilman Moody from Charleston County Council to come up and speak.
On the way over, I was encouraged that there are not a lot of cars, not a lot of people out, so I think everyone is paying attention, and that's good. There's still a few too many people out. Businesses are closed. There's really no reason to be out and about. This event tomorrow, we're looking at early arrival in the morning, the greatest threat time mid-morning, later morning through the early afternoon. So this is a all-day thing. So while we've gotten a little bit lucky, Kathy pointed out this is a huge storm. So just stay home. Just stay home, help your neighbors, look out for each other, and we'll get through this. Thank you.
Thank you. And Trooper Bob, tell us about the highways.
Sure. Thank you, Kev. Good afternoon. Troopers continue to monitor traffic on all roadways and interstates. In the Tri-County area, I-26 looks good. There are no incidents at this time. Light traffic. The Beaufort and Jasper area, traffic is light on US 21 and 278. Traffic is also light and moderate on 95, especially northbound. When the rain and winds do come here, we encourage everyone to, if you do see a down power line or down tree, please report it. You can dial star HP. It's star 47. It's a free call on your cell phone or 911. But please do not touch the power line. And eventually, we see some localized flooding on roadways. If you do see water on the roadway, please don't drive through it. And especially, I can't stress this enough, if there's a barricade up, do not go run that barricade. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll take a few questions from anybody, for anybody up here at the panel. Any questions? Nobody has any questions? Okay, lastly but not least, I would like to bring Sasha up here to communicate to our Spanish communities.
Buenas tardes. El condado de Charleston va a abrir un refugio a la 1 de la tarde hoy. El refugio está localizado en el 3765 Leeds Avenue. Repito, 3765 Leeds Avenue. Ellos no van a pedir identificación, solo tu nombre y dirección. En este mismo refugio podemos acomodar a mascotas, pero por favor traiga una jaula, comida y cualquier otra necesidad que necesite la mascota. Vamos a activar nuestro plan de transporte y autobuses comenzarán a recoger personas a la 1 de la tarde para llevarlo al refugio. Los puntos de recogida están en la guía de huracanes y los ciudadanos pueden buscar los letreros azules de huracanes para la parada de autobuses. Los autobuses pasarán desde la 1 de la tarde hasta las 8 de la noche y comenzarán nuevamente mañana por la mañana, al menos que la velocidad de los vientos determine lo contrario. Ahora es el momento de irse si usted vive en zonas propensas a inundaciones o simplemente no se siente seguro. Es mejor tener un plan y evacuar o otra área que un familiar o una amistad. Nuestro único refugio no tienen mucha capacidad. Una vez haya fuerte viento, no va a ser seguro viajar o en las carreteras. Todavía esperamos experimentar fuertes lluvias, fuertes vientos y marejadas altas. Por favor, tengan mucho cuidado. Nuestra línea de información está abierta. Si tienen una pregunta o preocupación, por favor llamen al 843-746-3909. También pueden llamar al Departamento de Salud y Control Ambiental de Carolina del Sur para ayudar con las necesidades médicas al 1-800-578-2031. Gracias.
Thank you. All right, one last chance. Any questions?
Can I reiterate what Councilmember Moody said?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So, Councilmember Moody made a great point. Tomorrow, when the real worst of the weather will be here, all the schools are closed, all businesses will be closed, county and city offices will be closed. It's a great time just to hunker down, batten down the hatches, and stay safe. Stay in place. And the other thing, Mayor Summey mentioned a little earlier, we've had a lot of rain lately. The ground is pretty saturated, so with the wind that we do have, the trees may come over or power lines. So after the storm, please stay away from power lines and wait for our emergency personnel to start clearing the way if there's any down power lines or trees to before you start moving around. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you very much for helping us again to get the, are you pointing?
I just want to mention the emergency vehicles when the highway.
Oh, yeah, yes, thank you. Chief Polano with the North Charleston Fire Department, he will give you the information as to when these emergency vehicles can no longer ride on the roads. Thank you, Chief.
The local first responders, that includes law enforcement, fire, and EMS, will have to suspend operations when wind speeds reach 40 miles per hour sustained wind speeds. Based on the current forecast, we are not anticipating that wind speeds will reach that level, but if they do, first responders will have to suspend operations until it is safe to return. And we will do so as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, well, again, thank you very much. We can't get the word out to our citizens without your help, so we do appreciate your support here in the, at the Joint Information Center and helping us get the word out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job, Jack.
All right, thank you for that. And now let's give you another update on the weather. And Irma continues to move northward as a major hurricane made landfall in the Florida Keys around 9:30 this morning. And a crazy statistic, 57 years ago, Hurricane Donna made landfall in the Florida Keys, and the track looks to be relatively similar. Donna made another landfall in southwest Florida. And that's what we're expecting with Irma later today. And those rain bands continuing to move through South Florida. So there's a tornado watch basically east of Tampa southward. There have been several tornado warnings. I've seen one report of a tornado so far. So again, because of that northeast quadrant, again, that's where we're going to see the greatest threat for tornadoes at this point. So those hurricane force winds about 80 miles from the center. So again, those hurricane force winds 160 miles wide. Tropical storm force winds extend 220 miles each way. So we're talking a swath of 440 miles where those tropical storm force winds extend through. So get a very large area because this is a very large storm. The center still located about 526 miles away from Charleston, but we're going to start to see those impacts as early as tonight, but really again the worst of it will come tomorrow. So here's the latest track. It came out at 11 a.m. and expected to be a major hurricane as it makes landfall later today somewhere in South Florida. So we're thinking Naples, possibly Fort Myers, and then weakening as it basically just kind of rides up the west coast of Florida. It's a Category 1 by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then weakening more as it moves over the Big Bend region of Florida into western Georgia, heading toward Alabama. So here we are Monday at 8 p.m. and then the remnants will move through Alabama and into the Tennessee Valley as we head into the middle of the week. But again, well outside the cone because this is such a large storm, we are going to feel impacts. All right, let's time everything out for you on Futurecast. Again, we are expecting that landfall again, close to Fort Myers, Naples area, around 8 o'clock this evening, just to kind of give you a ballpark. And then, like I said, Irma riding up the west coast. And in the meantime, we're going to see these bands moving on shore, and we're going to see this heavy rain shifting into parts of the southeast. So by 5 a.m., we're starting to see some of that heavier rain. So I think the heavier rain delayed a little bit later than we originally thought, but certainly overnight, we'll start to see the chance for that heavy rain to move in. But really, tomorrow, we're going to see that heavy rain. We're going to see those feeder bands moving on shore. And that not only will bring the heavy rain that I was talking about, but also the potential for isolated tornadoes So as we head through the day tomorrow, again, not going to be a very nice day between the rain, the threat of tornadoes, and the wind. And as we head towards 6 o'clock, still dealing with some heavy rain. So a closer look at our future cast. Again, can't rule out a few showers today, but relatively dry until we head into tonight. And even looks like the rain's going to hold off until after midnight. Overnight, again, here we are, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're starting to see some of those bands with the heavier rain. Again, we'll have to watch out for possible tornadoes. As we head toward 1 o'clock, again, we're still going to see those bands moving onshore with heavy rain. Still, that tornado threat more than likely will be with us. And as we head toward tomorrow night, things starting to improve a little bit, but we're still going to be feeling impacts from Irma as we head into Tuesday, although it looks like the bulk of them will be through Tuesday morning. All right, rainfall. Again, it will start tonight. Torrential downpours. We're generally looking at 3 to 6 inches of rain, but isolated amounts certainly possible. We've also been watching the high tides because we have had elevated tides the past few days, and that will continue to be the case. Plus, we're going to add a rainfall, and we're looking at that possible storm surge. So we just had our high tide at just before 11:30 this morning. Our next high tide coming just before midnight tonight. That's looking okay because the heavy rain looks to hold off until then. And then our next high tide that we'll be focusing on will be coming just after noon tomorrow, and then we'll have to watch those high tides on Tuesday as well. So the storm surge obviously going to be the greatest threat to life and property down in Southwest Florida, where they could see that storm surge greater than 9 feet. And it looks like the storm surge maybe not quite as high as we were originally thinking across other parts of Florida, maybe anywhere from 3 to 6 feet. So a little bit of good news there. As far as our storm surge, again, I think 2 to 4 feet seems to be kind of a good ballpark figure for us as far as the storm surge is concerned. So here's kind of those impacts in a nutshell. 3 to 6 inches of rain, some higher amounts possible. Winds, we are expecting tropical storm force winds, which is technically anything over 39 miles per hour, but I think those sustained winds will be between 35 to 45 miles per hour, gusts up to 50. Isolated tornadoes possible, and again, we're looking at a roughly 2 to 4 foot storm surge. Again, the worst of the impacts will come on Monday. Tropical storm warning for the entire low country, including coastal waters. Hurricane watch, coastal, Colleton, and Beaufort County. Storm surge warning, Beaufort County, coastal Colleton, tidal Berkeley, and all of Charleston County. And then a flash flood watch for the entire area. So flooding will be likely because we're going to get heavy rain, and we're expecting this tropical storm force winds. We think that's going to knock some trees down, and we do expect that to cause power outages, airborne debris. Also likely, although you still have a little bit of time to pick up some stuff around your house. So certainly take the time to do that. If you can't put your trash cans in the garage, tie them down. Again, please keep calm, and certainly as the weather starts to go downhill, make sure you stay indoors. All right, quick look at the forecast for today. Cloudy and windy. A few showers possible with those highs in the middle 70s. And then tonight, windy with showers and storms. That heavy rain begins. Looks like it's going to hold off until at least midnight. Lows between 68 and 71. And then again, the worst of the impacts will come tomorrow through early Tuesday, and then looking much quieter as we head through the rest of the week. Tessa?
All right, Sonia, thank you very much. And of course, we'll end with, in the words of North Charleston Mayor Keith Summy, get ready, be ready. God bless. Now we'll return you to ABC's national coverage of Hurricane Irma for the rest of the afternoon. Governor Henry McMaster, meanwhile, is scheduled to give a press conference at 2 this afternoon. Of course, we'll be bringing you that live, and tune in to ABC News 4 at 6 for the latest updates for the Low Country.